Hi everyone, I'm Kate. I'm presenting Wentworth House today. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which Wentworth House stands. Wentworth House is located south of a street running east-west at the foot of Cottage. The site falls within a residential heritage precinct. The precinct characteristics demonstrate most periods and patterns of development spanning from first settlement to mid-20th century. The critical consideration was the protection of the intact streetscape. The site contained an existing single-storey weatherboard Federation-style cottage circa 1910. There had been some later additions made to the rear of the cottage, which contained kitchen, bathroom and utility zones. These modifications failed to acknowledge the generously proportioned rear garden in any meaningful way, delivered poor thermal performance, and left many underutilised spaces void of sun or natural light. Our client, Anthony, was a graphic designer, so the communication of the brief was clear and concise. However, the budget was modest and the project timing fell during a difficult period where construction costs were escalating daily. Anthony and partner Elise didn't demand a multitude of additional rooms. They asked instead for light, bright, functional spaces, improved connection to garden, raw materials with warmth and texture. These are just a couple of precedent images that we landed on to communicate what they wanted to embody in their new home. The challenge of the site was the orientation of the existing home and the siting on the plot. How do we create a light, bright, open and connected space for family, addressing the garden and improving the thermal performance of the building when north is to the street and the garden is to the south? The layout of and detailing of the existing cottage was retained to protect heritage fabric, but also to minimise costs. Demolition was isolated to the more recent lean-to at the rear of the home. You can see here the grey areas are the retained fabric. The red area is the existing lean-to, which was demolished. And the green area was the existing pergola, which was also dismantled and used elsewhere at another site. After a series of concept explorations, it was agreed that the existing shed should be retained. The shed was integrated into the reconfiguration, bookending the new extension and the cottage and informing the new building footprint. The shed is now a studio housing the client's permanent office for their graphic design business. We reinstated the original eave line to the south of the cottage and created a low link between the cottage and the new extension. This tucks neatly below the existing eave, clearly delineates old and new, and provides a core where we centralise service and utility spaces, which you can see here in the green. In this zone, there is family bathroom and storage, skylights and opaque glazing, affording light and bright rooms whilst addressing compact spaces and issues of privacy at the property boundary. Laundry and butler's pantry, ensuite and robe, access through a new opening to the main bedroom in the existing cottage, new insertions working sympathetically with the character of the home. To the south of the link, slotted between the house and the studio, is the extension containing living, dining and kitchen. The new work is compact yet open, connecting to garden and maintaining external circulation between the house and the studio. In collaboration with the engineer, we employed a cost-effective single-spanning roof truss system. This required minimal structural steel and afforded highly insulated roof spaces critical to climatic conditions of the south-facing building. We were then able to maximise frame views and draw natural light through modestly proportioned and carefully placed apertures, providing a shifting series of light shafts throughout the day. The plan arrangement creates a feeling of expansiveness, belying the 48 square metre new building footprint, borrowed views of the garden, the use of simple open portal frames, continuous indoor to outdoor floor surfaces and integrated landscape seating augment the connection to garden and place for family. The extension is a dynamic and playful form, bringing an abundance of northern light deep into the home. The asymmetric red brick chimney anchors the extension to site, whilst taking cues from the surrounding context. From the street, the new work is invisible, leaving the heritage streetscape intact. A large thermal mass element, rainwater collection tanks for garden use, hydronic heating, and light-coloured roofing, maximising solar reflectance, plus the reuse of salvaged materials elsewhere are integral to the sustainably sensitive design. And that's Wentworth House.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I can barely hear you at the moment. Thanks for the presentation. Could you maybe just unpack a little bit more to what extent the work extended into landscape design or changing the way the backyard might work, sorry?
There was little sort of impact to the existing backyard, so it's essentially just an open sort of green yard. The extent of the landscape is essentially what you see in that final image there, with the seating, which was integrated into the creating sort of stair access to the existing studio space.
Kate, do you mind going back to the plan?
Yeah.
And so there is still a landscape. That little outbuild, that was an existing.
So that was an existing shed, which was renovated into a studio, which the client uses as an office.
And then the gesture of the terrace is tying back into that. So that's part of, obviously, that's setting up the logic of the access to the garden.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So there was minimal excavation, and obviously the height at the back of that seat sort of aligns with the existing ground line in that location. The main 4 rooms, the clients had already renovated, so it was really just from the bedroom or the, where is that?
So it had a lyrical comment on
from this line here. Yeah, sorry.
Lyrical comment on the new chimney. Can you just go to that photo and maybe just talk a bit more about?
Yeah, so that's the new chimney there. You can see during construction. So it just, I don't know whether I have a great photo of it from externally. You can just sort of see it there. So that's sort of standing at the gate at the street level, and you can just see that the angle of the chimney follows the angle of the roof. You might be able to see it on, you can't see it there either. Oops.
And you also talk about the placement of the windows. So I know that's sort of arranged to get light. Yeah.
Yes, so essentially south is direct to the garden and north is direct to the street. So we did originally sort of start with a design which had an expanse of windows facing north, but budget constraints meant that we had to create these smaller apertures. But it means that we did get this really nice play of light throughout the day on the floor of the new extension.
In terms of just the language of the form against the original house, I mean, it's obvious that the geometry is picking up solar gain.
Yep.
But did you wrestle with that? I mean, I've always found it an uncomfortable thing.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Existing building.
Yeah.
Like, had that relationship, and it's a problem on lots of sites in Hobart.
Yes. Yeah. I felt it was easier to follow that path because there was a genuine reason to do that.
Yeah.
Obviously, if North had been at a different sort of direction to the site, then it would have been a different building in the end.
Priorities.
Yeah. But from the street, as you can see, that's the most you see from any point on that street.
And so you've used the linkway, that is the service edge, to bring that element into the back of the existing cottage.
Yeah, that's right. So from
it steps down.
It steps down.
So obviously lower over the service area.
Yeah, so over the service area, the ceiling is at that bulkhead height that you can see there.
Yeah.
So that's a green line on the plans.
That's right. So that's right through.
And so when visitors come, how do they arrive? How are they coming into the house?
They're coming in, well, if someone's knocking on the door, they're going to the front door. But if they're like friends and family, they're just coming up the side path here and walking into the courtyard, which is how they enter the house as well. I mean, so they're parking here and walking in.
Yeah. And can I ask, with the fire, sorry, you've set up the geometry of the brick. Is there a reason why the opening to the actual fireplace is higher? Is there some thermal? Is there something going on there that's
No, it was just an aesthetic sort of decision. No. This one is a finished one that shows the fire there as well.
Thank you, Karen.